Boker Tov, good morning. Today is Friday, February 5th, Erev Shabbat Parshat Yitro. Can we control what we feel? And should we control what we feel? In a very real way, feelings just are. And to expect people not to feel what they're feeling would be to demand the repression of people. And that is a truism and something that we should affirm as a value in the way we relate to one another. And yet at the same time, the very same time, we absolutely should be controlling what it is that we feel. What do I mean? I mean to say the following. There are thoughts that we harbor, that live inside of us, that are unhealthy thoughts. Thoughts of vengefulness and of resentments that, if we feed, will grow and strengthen to the point in which we are not well. So that for someone to say, but I have these feelings, is just the beginning of a process. It's a process in which you say, recognize those feelings for what they are, and then let's learn how to respond to what it is that's going on inside of you. And perhaps how to talk to yourself, whether it's about anxiety or resentments or jealousies. And that indeed is a message in the Parsha itself. This week we read Parshat Yitro, and the centerpiece of the Parsha is the crowning moment of the story of God and Israel, when God reveals God's self to the Jewish people. And God does so through the Aseret HaDibrot, through these 10 utterances, which begin discussing articles of faith, and then the necessity of not worshiping other things or even images, and then essential mitzvot, and then core basic societal requirements and expectations, and what a civil society should be, and one in which rules of law are in place. And then it concludes with the mitzvah of lo tachamod, of do not covet, do not covet your other people's property, do not covet other people's wives, do not cover their homes. And it's a strange mitzvah to throw in, because the rest seemingly are things that have to do with actions, and this one seemingly does not. Now, admittedly, when you look at the halacha, ultimately the halacha says that you do not transgress the prohibition of lo tachamod, of do not covet, until you actually lead into a plan of action to try to take something that belongs to someone else for yourself, to even press them and convince them to give it up to you, even perhaps if you put money down. That's a matter of halachic debate and discussion. If you actually end up paying for it, did you still transgress lo tachamod? But it's understood in the halachic literature that what happened inside of you is not where the avera is. It's only when it takes on these other forms. That being said, what is clear, eminently clear, is that what happened inside of you was what leads to the ultimate technical infraction of carrying out, making good on your hunger and need for what somebody else has. And the presumption is that what's going on inside of you indeed matters, and indeed has to be addressed. The Aruch HaShulchan comments on the following way: Lo tachmod, lo titaveh. These two related terminologies for not coveting and desiring other people's property. Eina kavana al ta'avat halev bilvad. He says it does not seek to tell you just about what you are hungering for and desiring in your heart, below ma'aseh, without actually carrying it out. Nonetheless, he says that might be the case, but it's a matter of religious piety. Midat chasidut shelo tachmod klal afilu belev. We would say recognize that in terms of your internal workings and healthy being that you'll have, your spiritual sense, what is the right way to be, um, that is absolutely something that happens inside of you, must be addressed. And of course, understand that if you don't address it, if you don't address those things that are mounting and developing, and taking power over you, they will very possibly lead to actions which are sinful, harmful to others and to yourself. And that is a critical lesson for us all. Because for people simply to say, I can't help it, it's just what I feel, is insufficient. In life, we need to do the following. We need to affirm our feelings and not deny them. And then to ask ourselves, are they healthy? Are they holy? Sometimes it's about unholy thoughts that we have, unholy feelings that we have. But are they harmful? Are they hurtful to myself or to others? And then to say, what work do I need to do to help pull me back from what might turn into something quite dangerous in terms of harm to another, or dangerous in terms of my own devolving into a person I shouldn't be, doing things I shouldn't do, or looking at everything through lenses which will just not produce anything positive. We're living in a time where so many of we're living with our thoughts, right? Our thoughts that can take us in so many different directions. And so we need to take these steps that I described. The first one is to recognize what's happening and not to deny them, not to suppress them, but to take them, face them head on. And then to ask ourselves, what's good for me, what's not? What does God want of me and not? What will be good for my relationship to others and what is not? And to work at that point in a healthy way, not in some some attack mode, which won't really accomplish it, but to do the important spiritual, personal, psychological, emotional work to bring ourselves to a better place, where our thoughts are healthy, where we feel healthy, where we find ways to be sameach b'chalkeinu, to be satisfied with that which we have, and to learn to live with disappointments in a way which won't break us, but rather will keep us strong nonetheless. Wishing you a Shabbat of emotional and mental health, and a place and arriving at a place where you can feel whole and solid with yourself and with the others around you. Have a Shabbat Shalom.